what are the most, I guess the word is inappropriate, perhaps, situations that you have had to face individually in your different career paths where it is obvious that it is not an equitable situation, right? And it is something that everyone takes for granted. And I'm sure each of you have a different example in that regard.
We were having this meeting and I was the only female in the office. There was nobody else. The moment my boss actually explained the policy change and everybody started looking at each other that they were not happy with the policy change, and people decided to just keep quiet, and I can't keep quiet. That's I have to talk, I have to speak up. So I raised my hand and I stood up and I said I don't agree, and I basically gave out my opinion. And the meeting got over, we just got out, and me and my colleague were going outside the office together. And this colleague of mine, he said, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You were very good inside, but is this that time of the month for you?" And I wanted to tell him a lot of things at that time, that you can't blame my hormones for everything. And for me to voice my opinion and to say what I really feel like, I don't need to be PMSing. I can talk because I have an opinion, and I'm not apologetic about it.
Unfortunately, at the time when I was supposed to join university, my mom met with a stroke. So in order to help financial matters, I started to work. Answering your question of what are the most inappropriate situations, one would be quite common when they ask to see the manager and I come up. They just stop and they look and, "You're the manager?" I say, "Yeah, I'm the manager for this area. Is something the matter?" I thought, is he not the manager? "No, sir, I am the manager." So, this has happened quite often, and it felt very weird for me, because why can't a girl or a lady or a woman be a manager in any field setting?
I've been told in few situations that whenever I argue my point, or I'm actually passionately, talking and I'm opinionated, I have a totally different opinion, or I'm stressing and giving a different opinion, I'm always told, "Why are you so emotional?" Really, this thing, and I always had to correct a person or a man, mostly from men, that I am not emotional. I'm actually okay. I'm just arguing and I'm stressing my point. And I think that is true. I'm not sure why, would mostly from men would tend to think that if you're opinionated, if you're a woman opinionated, would have a totally different opinion and argue it, they would actually automatically assume that you are emotional. And I think this is one of the things that basically, we really have to correct.
People would come up to me and said, "You don't look as if you belong in the world of science." So when I go to the lab, I look like this. I still put on a face. I do like to put on makeup. I dress up quite neatly, and I go to the lab like this. And I had male colleagues coming up to me and say, some of them, they come up to me asking me a question. They're like, "Oh, I'm looking for Dr. So-and-so." And I'd be like, "Yes, I am Dr. blah, blah, blah." And I'd be like, "Oh, you?" "Oh, I was kind of looking for somebody who looks a bit more sciencey." And then I asked that gentleman, "What do you mean? How does one look sciencey?" If that is even a word. Like, how does one look sciencey? And then that gentleman said that, probably someone would have a hair up in a bun with overalls, with sports shoes. You don't look serious enough to be in the world of science.
I can't remember the number of times I've been mistaken to be your note-taking secretary when I've gone on meetings with you to other places. And as much as I work with some very smart, very woke men in the QI group, the number of times I've been asked to take minutes, not because I was the junior most person in the room, but because I was the woman. And when I try to point out why should I take the minutes, I've been told, very quickly I see a wave of panic on the person's face, and I'm told, "Oh, but you're in communications. You don't need an English literature degree to take minutes of the meeting. Anybody can take minutes of the meeting."
There were many times I'm told that I shouldn't come across strong because I'm strong. and I shouldn't voice out my opinion. And because, oh my God, you are, Dato Sri's wife, I mean, what would the staff and people think? And I'm someone, I think Dato Sri knows me too well, that if he's wrong, then I tell him too that, he's wrong. And that's me. And I've been like this from the time I'm a teenager. That's me. And, I speak my mind, and I am not going to, and I love being who I am, and I'm not going to imitate and become somebody else just because I want the society to accept me. Because I'm a strong woman, and you come out and you accept me. See, the thing is, I think ultimately that this is not about, whether it's the men or the women. I think what basically the patriarch society that has done it for thousands of years now, what we need to do is to break that pattern and for all of us to come together.